What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Thanks a lot for tuning in to my advanced Phantom Muspah guide. This is my first ever old school RuneScape video and actually the first video I have ever made, so a big welcome to all of you to my channel. In this guide I will be going over my plugins, tile markers and some useful tips for placing the spikes in the Phantom Muspah room, as well as other advanced information that you might not have seen in a basic Muspah guide yet. This is not a beginner's guide to killing the Muspah, there are plenty of videos out there, these are just some more advanced tips. Alright, let's get started. We start off with my plugins. The first plugin is called Bank Tag Layouts. It allows you to make separate bank tags and move your items there without them being locked to a specific spot. This makes gearing for specific boss fights easier, as you can only add the items you need to your bank tag and have them positioned in such a way that you can easily withdraw your items and equip your gear. The second plugin is a must-have for resupplying quickly after kills, and it's called Custom Menu Swaps. With this plugin you can withdraw different amounts of items by holding the 1, 2, 3 and 4 button on your keyboard, allowing you to withdraw the exact amount of food or potions without having to right click. My next plugin is Boost Information. This shows the skill boost you have active and also shows you how long the boost will be active for. I used it to time my ranging and super defense potion and not have it being reduced seconds after I drink my potion. Thrall Helper is up next, a very basic plugin which notifies you if you have to summon a new thrall. Nothing fancy but very useful. Next up is a plugin that most people will probably have enabled already, the Tile Indicators plugin. I have Highlight True Tile and Highlight Destination Tile enabled. Groundmarkers is another plugin that most people will have enabled already. If not, I highly suggest you do so because it's a must-have for this guide. I will have more information about the groundmarkers later in the video. The NPC Indicators plugin is very useful for trying to avoid the Muspah's melee attacks. Simply add the name to the text box and be sure to enable Highlight True Tile. And the last plugin is XP Drop. This plugin recolors the XP drop to blue if you are using an offensive prayer, which is very useful if you sometimes forget to put Eagle Eye on during the fight. Also, the XP drops are pretty essential in placing the spikes correctly, but I'll have more information about that later in the video. Here you can see my gear. It's a basic Bowfa setup with an Anguish, Pegasians, Barrels gloves, Archering imbued, and of course a Sapphire Dragon Bolts E equipped as well. In my inventory I have an Armadillo crossbow, a light bearer, the rune pouch. Inside the rune pouch I have fire runes, cosmic runes, blood runes and soul runes. I also have the Book of the Dead to summon my thralls. When I go into my bank you will see I have the gear on the left side, all the equipable gear and all the gear in my inventory, and I can withdraw the potions that I need by using the keyboard buttons with the Custom Menu Swapper plugin that I told you about earlier. Regearing is very easy this way. I bring some pizzas because they're cheaper and heal the same amount, and I can use the pizzas to heal in between kills, and I use the tuna potatoes to heal during the kills if I get damaged a lot. I teleport to my house with a house tab, and I have my portal set up to Wise, so I can just click the portal and move my way over to Wise, cross over the ditch and go through the fence. At this point I always check to see how much time I have left on my skill boost. If it's above 30 seconds I put on my Preserve Prayer and pop a super defense and a normal ranging potion. I also pop a stamina potion when I'm close to the entrance, and then I enter the cave. On the screen you will now see all the tile markers. The purple one close to the middle is the start tile. You will start every kill on this tile in order to get in the rhythm. The red one is the tile which is a safe spot during the teleport phase. The tiles in the middle are where the Muspah will spawn during his last phase, and it's very useful to try and get one of the spikes on one of these blue tiles, since these tiles will block off large parts of the room when the Muspah's big magic attack comes close to the end of the fight. The other purple tiles are the tiles we use to guide the Muspah around. You can run clockwise or counterclockwise around the room and hit the Muspah once on every tile, and then move on to the next. These tiles are the bread and butter of this technique, so we try to minimize the spikes we place onto these tiles, in order to keep our kite area as free as possible. We enter the room and run to the start tile. Since the melee version, we summon a Thrall, attack once and run straight back to the first tile, going clockwise. Once the Muspah's hitbox crosses over the start tile, we click the next tile. This way we make sure that the Muspah has moved close enough to us and he will not smack us when running towards the third tile. And now we keep on kiting the Muspah around the room using the purple tiles. Click a tile, attack the Muspah, click the next tile, attack the Muspah, and repeat. Be sure to have your Thrall active if you hadn't summoned him at the start of the fight, and be sure you've taken a stamina potion, either before the melee phase starts or during the running up to the area like I did. Now here is where the XP drop and the placing of the spike comes into play. We notice a pretty big XP drop, which indicates a big hit, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen. We also notice the Muspah is close to 750 HP, the threshold around which he normally switches form for the first time. The big hit will take him below 750 HP, meaning he switches form and will spawn a spike underneath us. Remember, we want to keep our kiting area as clean as possible, so we will not run towards our next highlighted tile, but we will instead run off to the side in order to place the spike in an area that won't be problematic to us. As you can see, the spike is placed perfectly on the side of the room and not in our kiting path. When the Muspah is in his ranged form, we try to position ourselves on one of the blue tiles in the center, preferably not one of the corner tiles, in order to have the biggest effect. When he switches back to melee, we kite him around the room using the purple tiles again. If you think the Muspah might get close, you can turn on Protect from Melee, which, as long as the Muspah is moving, should result in his hits being a 0. Resummon your Thrall while running towards the next tile and keep on repeating the kiting process. We try to place another spike on the blue tiles during his range phase, but unfortunately he starts his teleport phase before we get to the spike. During the teleport phase, we run towards a safe spot, turn off any protective prayers and hit the Muspah. I will have 2 more tips on how to hit the Muspah quickly when moving towards a safe spot later in this video. The Bowfa has enough range to hit the Muspah on all teleport spots without being dragged around the room. Unfortunately, we have a spike in our kiting area, since it's very hard to place every single spike perfectly. However, with the spike area only being 1 row thick, this won't be much of a problem. We simply click in front of the spike and continue our normal kiting run after that. The player will simply skip over the spike. We keep on kiting the Muspah around the room until he enters his final phase. As you can see, the spikes placed in the center make his attack area a lot smaller and creates a very easy safe spot in order to dodge his attack. During his final phase, we switch over to our Armadillo crossbow and spec the Muspah twice, by having Smite activated if possible. You should try to get on different attack ticks in order to use Smite effectively. After his prayer is drained, switch back to your Bowfa and finish the kill. I either put my pizzas in between kills, get my prayer back up, pick up the loot and move to the starting tile in order to get ready for my next kill. Here are 2 tips to make the safe spot attacks easier. When the Muspah starts his teleport and you have clicked to move yourself towards the safe spot, you can right click the Muspah when he is teleporting around the room. As long as you keep your mouse within the pop-up box, you will be able to instantly click attack if your true tile reaches the safe spot, and you will start attacking right away. An even better and more efficient way to instantly attack from the safe spot can only happen if you manage to be on the safe spot almost instantly after the teleport phase has started. The Muspah always teleports to the exact same locations, with the first being near the entrance, the second being in the northwest corner, and the third being in the south. If you are on a safe spot within a second of the teleport phase starting, you can instantly click the Muspah near the entrance. If it takes you between 1 to 3 seconds, I normally try to attack him when he's south, since that one is the closest to a safe spot and requires very little mouse movement. A final tip I got for you is that whenever you are attacking the ranged version of the Muspah and you get the hit that switches him to his melee version, do not instantly start running away. Since the Muspah is transitioning, it seems like his defensive stats are not yet switched, which means the next hit you do rolls off his ranged version's defense, which is significantly lower than the melee version's defense. If you get lucky with your hits, you can have some very insane phase switches, as you can see in this clip above, where his melee phase only lasted for 2 of my hits. Bowfa is the perfect weapon for this, since it will just get the next hit out before you have to start moving for the spikes. As you can see here, resupplying is made extremely easy with the plugin I mentioned earlier. With just a few mouse clicks you are right back on your way to Wise and ready to get those Venator shards. These were all the advanced tips I have for you at the moment. The prayer skipping is extremely hard with the Bowfa and is not something as normal players would do on a regular basis, which is why I won't even attempt it. Using Greater Corruption works pretty well in the prayer phase, but I normally just keep hitting, since the crossbow spec is pretty accurate and I feel the corruption takes a long time to get going. Anyways, thanks so much for watching my first ever YouTube video. I'm shooting for the stars here, but it will be very cool if I manage to get 5 subscribers from this video. If you want to help me out with that, you probably know which buttons you should press. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or if you have another boss you would like to see a video about. Thanks again, and I wish you most of luck killing the Phantom Muspah.